Hello, 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 everybody. We are back. Abby Wake here with Awaken the Voice. So this week we have a special guest, Voice 10.
Hello.
And she is here to speak to us about unhealthy relationships. So I think all of us can relate to that in some shape or form, whether it's your friends or your family or something, that sometimes things just don't feel safe, and sometimes you stick in those relationships because you're not really sure what to do or how to deal with the situation, especially when you do it at a young age, right? So Voice 10, tell me your story, or just kind of start from your first kind of feeling of having an unhealthy relationship.
Oh, yes. So I think my first unhealthy relationship was basically my first love, so to speak. And that would have started when I was in year 11. Year 10, year 11.
So how did you feel? Because I think at that age when we meet someone that we like, it is that instant like, I need to be with him all the time.
Oh, yes.
I love him. All of this stuff.
And the butterflies.
All of that.
Yeah.
But could you recognize if that felt good or not in your body at the time? Or were you just caught up in the moment?
Oh, definitely caught up in the moment. And that's all it was about, at that age and being in year 10, 11, it's all about finding your high school sweetheart. And Gympie's a small area. So sometimes it was about, the fame of being with the bad boy and whatnot. A lot of things came into play. But yeah, there was no bad feelings, and I probably didn't look into it as much and realize what I was doing and how I was feeling and why. It was just, definitely caught up in the moment.
Yes. What do you feel you wish that you had spent more time paying attention to then? Like, because you mentioned that whole status, because that's huge, and I think that's everywhere. Like, oh, you're dating Husha Mantaba, and it's like, damn, like, oh girl, he was with da 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 last week, and he was with da 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 3 years ago. So, but how do you wish, looking back, if you had to reach out, and this is for girls and boys, like, what do you wish you had like taken more time for yourself to think about, even emotionally at that age?
Yeah, well, year 10 and year 11, it's extremely important. I really wish that if I could go back, I would focus more on my study, focus more on paying attention to my friends as well. They could have benefited with me, being there for them.
Yes.
As well as me being there for me too. Rather than focusing on boys or girls and relationships. At that age, schooling is very important, and making sure that you've got the close friends there and being in touch with yourself. Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, too, in this day and age, social media is a wildfire.
Yes.
So it's like, shit, how many apps are there? There's like Musicality, Bombarda, Ganga. Like, there's everything. There's everything on there that it's like, there's so many distractions for you to focus on your life, like for your visions, for your dreams. I remember doing the empowerment program and just being like, what do you guys envision? And they're all like, what? Like, there's nothing there. Like, do you feel like that? Did you ever have those conversations? Like,
I mean, social media today is even 7 years ago. It's just exploded. I know that we didn't have it anywhere near as much as what it is today. I mean, it was still big, but definitely nowhere near as big. I mean, I was back in the MySpace days.
Yes. Oh my God, MySpace.
MySpace was the Facebook.
MySpace was a mess.
Yeah.
You could play music on MySpace. You could find your own.
Yep.
MySpace was the best. God, you're old if you've done MySpace. You real old. But MySpace was everything.
Yeah.
I remember. Yep.
So it's Facebook now. Facebook's the thing, and but yeah, definitely so much more distraction. Definitely so much more to keep up with. So yeah, I can't imagine what it's like to be, a teenager in 2017.
Yeah. Like, I think about that all the time. Like, even the young girls that come into the studio, I'm just like, your minds are just so full and unhealthy. Like, the things that these kids are talking about have no relevance to anything important, you know?
Exactly.
And, like, what you said about focusing on school or your friends. Your mom, supportive? Dad, what was the situation there? Like, how was it when it came to your unhealthy relationships growing up? Did you have support? Was there fear? Because I feel like parents are terrified of their kids these days.
Yes.
Like, afraid that they'll leave or hurt themselves or whatever the case may be.
I usually with unhealthy relationships, you are sacrificing good ones. You are absolutely sacrificing healthy ones. When I'm made it serious with my boyfriend, my jailbird boyfriend during year 10, 11, I lost my relationship with my mum.
Oh.
Yeah. So I did go through that alone, because you just feel like other adults don't understand, they don't understand that first love and that you've got the power to change.
Yes.
To change them, from a bad boy to a good one. No,
because at the end of the day, in the relationships you're in, it's work.
Yes.
And sometimes when you're that young, you don't even know what that means.
Exactly.
So what do you recommend to those kids, like, that are also full on him? I'm in love with him. I'm in love with her.
And I'm Miss Florence Nightingale, and I can fix him.
Yeah. What is that? But what does that even mean? Like,
yeah, it's just a position that you shouldn't be in at that age.
Try to be friends.
Yeah.
Damn.
You don't need to fix anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably still working on yourself. Put that time and effort into loving yourself and working towards who you want to be, not trying to change someone else.
Well, and the strongest relationships, I feel, are to friendships. Yeah. Like, I feel like when I see these 15, 16, 17-year-olds be like, I'm in a relationship, I love him, kissing all over Facebook, I'm like, but do you know that person? Like, do you know their life? Do you know where they come from? Do they know what they want? And half of the time they're like, he's just cute.
Yeah.
Like, he put up that Facebook picture of us with that twirly crown thing. And I'm like, I don't care. That doesn't say anything about anything.
Exactly.
Exactly. And that's not just kid relationships. That's adult relationships.
Sure.
If you're in a relationship where you don't know that person's heart and you don't know where they come from, then what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, why are you there besides what you said before?
Yeah.
Status. Like, even as an adult, how do you feel? Like, encountered some unhealthy relationships. What do you feel is the reason why you stay? Or stay, like, hooked? Why is that for you? Why do you think we do that?
Comfortability.
Yeah.
Once you're in that situation, regardless of whether it hurts or not, or regardless whether it's tough, you know that feeling. And it's
a gut feeling.
Yeah.
Always.
It's something you know how to deal with. And letting go or changing your habits or deciding to make a choice for yourself for the better. It's still scary. It's still a what if. And sometimes just being in the same space, knowing what you know can be comfortable.
Yes.
And it's hard to...
And that's years.
Yes.
People stay in relationships for like 50 years looking at each other like, damn, why am I with you?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't know you. Can you imagine that? Being with someone for that long and them not being able to see you?
Yeah, for who you are, yeah.
And not being able to be your true self?
Yeah.
That happens everywhere, all the time. And it's like, what are we afraid of? What do you think that fear comes from? Comfortability, yes, but it's deeper than that.
Oh, the feeling of being alone.
Always.
Yeah. It took me 6 years to leave my partner because I felt that I would probably struggle finding, someone else. My main fear was knowing that I would have to discover who I am.
Yes.
Yeah, because for 6 years it was all about him. It was never about me. I had no idea what I loved, who I was, what I enjoyed doing, what I didn't enjoy doing. I had no idea who I was. And that was scary for me.
And that's so common. And sometimes it's amazing, sometimes when you see people leave relationships or divorces, and all of a sudden their light comes out.
Yeah.
And it's like, what took you so long? And it's always interesting when people say, I've already known. I always knew. And it's like, then what the hell did you waste all this time to get here for? But again, I think you're right. It's the loneliness. It's just comfortability. It's also support, like having good friends.
Yes, yeah.
Like, I think even just being in Gympie and with the studio and all of you, like, I literally would not be the woman I am without the support of you guys.
Definitely. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's vital. If you don't have that, and you
it
have
changes
friends,
everything.
and if you have friends that are like low key talking shit and not able to tell you to your face, like that's something that you need to consider. Young or old. I don't care if you're 15 years old and you're like, Mom, blah, blah, blah was talking bad about me. You need to let that person go.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to change. And it's the same as an adult. Like that is constant. So with that, with unhealthy relationships and your voice and you sharing, and thank you so much, because I think even with what you do in your job, like you deal with a lot of people just dealing with unhealthy relationships and getting caught up in just a lot of BS. What would you share? Like, what would you share with these kids and these adults and these parents? Like, what's important for them to know if their child's in an unhealthy relationship, if you're in an unhealthy relationship? What do you...
Find something healthy, whether it's another adult. If you can't find that connection with one of your parents, find another adult that you do feel comfortable with. It's so important to have that support network where you can just go and talk about it, where you feel safe. For me, it's the dance studio. I can come here and talk about whatever, whenever. I've got support networks of all groups and all ages to be able to talk about different circumstances. And I'm 25. You still need it. Whether you're 17, 25, 50, you always need that support network. The most important thing I remember what I was told when I was younger, that it takes 2 years to know someone. To truly get to know someone, it takes 2 years, and that's I've kept that with me for so long, because true colours do come out. 2 years. So just remember that when you're,
And if you can't be yourself from the beginning, then there's no point.
Exactly.
If you're not and sometimes you don't know who your true self is. I mean, I'm 30, and just now am I really zoning into my true self. And I think you have to be really good to yourself about that. But in that moment, in that time, whoever that person is, you must be like that 24/7.
Yes.
With everyone you're around. And if you're not like that, then that group, those people, those are not your people. So just if that's anything, unhealthy relationships come from, I feel, if you can't be your true self.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And if once you get that, like, there's no turning back from that, because you always feel supported and you always have that. It feels
so good to be you.
It does.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Voice 10, you the best, girl.
Thank you.
You're awesome. Thank you so much. Again, and I will say it 5 million times over, this podcast is for you. This podcast is for the human race. It's not just for girls. It's not just for boys. It's for trans. It's for our gay community. It's for everyone that's feeling like they don't have a safe space to be heard, or just to relate to people that go through the same stuff that they do. This is what this podcast is for. These are all humans, all human beings that just feel stuff and that want to share and to have their voice be heard. So if you want your voice to be heard, you know where to find us. Click in the link below. Connect with Awake Studio. Message us. We will connect with you. We will find you. We will make sure that you are heard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you again, Voice 10.
Thank you.
And we love you. We're proud of you. And we will see you next time on Awaken the Voice. See you soon. Bye.